Absolutely. A small footnote left behind in history books definitely existed. In 1933, the United States government took the gold in its own people's hands by law, by force, and without offering any real choice. This wasn't a war. There was no occupation. No enemy army had arrived. The government told its own citizens, "Hand over your gold," and backed it with the hard stance of legal threat. So how was this possible? This wasn't the mistake of a single person or a single policy. It was one of the most striking pieces of evidence showing how deeply people live inside an illusion about money. Because now I'm going to ask you this. What is money? Really? Is it just a piece of paper, a coin, a number in a bank? No. Money has been, from the beginning, a belief system, a promise, a collective illusion built on a lie. And throughout history, whenever the system wanted, that illusion was reshaped, and people fooled themselves again. This video isn't only the story of the 1933 gold confiscation. It's the story of the truth that the global economy is actually a giant pyramid scheme, that one day it became history's most profitable product, and that the vast majority of the economic stories you were told in textbooks lied to you. Does history repeat itself? No, it doesn't repeat itself. But it rhymes. The tone of 1933 still echoes today, and if you don't understand this, the system will mislead you again, and this time maybe they won't even take gold. Maybe they'll just take your power, your freedom, and your time. So let's start from the beginning. Scene 1933. America. The deepest point of the Great Depression. Millions of people have no jobs, their savings have evaporated, and the country is tumbling into an economic pit. And right at that moment, President Franklin D. Roosevelt did something that history books mostly glide over. With Executive Order 9599, which he signed on March 5, 1933, an order came to all citizens. Deliver your gold coins, gold bars, and gold certificates to the Federal Reserve Bank. The penalty for not delivering? A $10,000 fine or 5 years in prison. A citizen had to hand over their private property, the wealth they had earned, to the state. And the most interesting part was this. In return, they received $20.25. Then, after the gold stopped being theirs, after it was no longer in their hands, the government raised the official price of gold to $35. A 40% devaluation. Overnight. And the citizen didn't even realize it. Because the price changed when the gold was no longer in their possession. This wasn't a mistake. This was intentional. And pause here for a second. Even in history books, this is explained to you like this. A necessary measure to save the economy. But the truth was this. The system eliminated the only independent source of wealth in the citizens' hands. Because gold was, to a large extent, the only type of asset outside government control. And if the citizen held gold, the state couldn't fully control the gold price. If the citizen sold gold, the dollar weakened. The system added a new line to the rules to remove an instrument of freedom from the citizen's hands. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Now we need to explain something here. What is money, really? Without answering that, you will never understand the true meaning of 1933. Most people think about money like this. Money is a medium of exchange. But that answer is too small. It's like describing the ocean as a bit of salty water. Money is a belief system. And like every belief system, It only has meaning as long as, collectively, people keep saying, "We believe in this." Paper is paper. A paper printed in the form of dollars. The only thing that creates the difference is the government standing behind it and saying, "This paper is valuable." And you believing it. And everyone believing it. And when that belief system breaks, when people say, "This paper is actually backed by nothing," the system can collapse easily. Throughout history, that belief system has been reshaped again and again. And each time, people were persuaded all over again to believe in it again. 1933 was one of those times. The concrete reality in the citizen's hand was taken, and in its place, a paper system completely under government control was installed. For centuries, gold had been the anchor of monetary stability, meaning, the dollar was equal to X ounces of gold. If the citizen held gold, the citizen held a tangible guarantee. In 1933, that anchor was cut, and money would now be worth only as much as the state said it was worth. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And pause here for one more second. Think, how does the global economy work today? Dollar, it's no longer tied to gold. No currency has any tangible backing. Nixon abolished the gold standard completely in 1971. And that day, money officially became nothing but a promise. The government's promise. This paper is valuable because I say so. And if there's another name for that, it's called belief. And this belief system works like a giant pyramid scheme. Every transaction with money depends on someone else entering the system. Debt is the fuel of the system. Because new money enters the system largely by creating debt. The Fed, the state, the banks, they all produce debt. And debt has become a legal product. If that sounds to you like history's most profitable product, the answer is yes. And now the real question arrives. What does the textbook tell you? And what is the truth? The textbook tells you this. The free market is always best. Competition fixes everything. The global economy produces growth for everyone. The truth is this. The market was not always free. Regulation and deregulation were done according to whose interest it served. Growth didn't always reach every segment. And every major financial crisis, like the 2008 crisis, when they said, there was no way to foresee this, in reality the system had warned before, but nobody listened, or those who listened were silenced. This is not a conspiracy theory. This exists in records, in reports, in the statements of former CEOs. The system operates like a self-governing structure. And that structure doesn't protect the interests of the ordinary citizen. It protects the uninterrupted flow of capital. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And now I will ask you the final question. Why is learning this information important not only for getting rich? Answer: because this information is the only way to understand the system. And understanding the system is the only way to protect yourself from manipulation. Financial education is something beyond investing. It's a shield. It's a weapon. And today, the world has deliberately moved what's called financial literacy into the frame of getting rich. Invest to earn more. But the real frame was this. Understand this system, because when the system manipulates you, if you remain unaware, you lose. In 1933, the citizen remained unaware. And 40% of a gold wealth built over tens of thousands of years disappeared, gone. If knowledge had been at the citizen's side at that table, a second thought could have happened. An objection could have risen. A decision could have been changed. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And if history rhymes, and if those rhymes repeat the system once again, the only guarantee is in knowledge. And that knowledge is not only to be rich, but to be free. This video was not made to present a conspiracy theory. This video was made to hold up a mirror to you. How does the system work? Take a real case from history in the simplest, clearest, most shocking form, a government that took the gold of its own citizens. And in the light of that case, ask, today, how much do I understand? And while asking this question, please keep one thing in mind. Even when gold was taken, people didn't realize it. The system always said, "It's to protect you." And people, every time, believed again. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And rhymes break only when consciousness changes. And consciousness changes only through knowledge. And knowledge. This moment, this video, this speech. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let's go deeper together.